Okay, we're going to start it up again and give it another shot since I was having a lot of trouble. I don't know why the live stream was struggling as much as it was, but this time I'm hoping that the quality and the health of the live stream is a lot better, so you should get a decent view of the miniatures. So I've turned down the resolution a little bit, maybe just too many people online, hence why I can't actually sort of make it work quite the way I'd hoped. And I do apologise for those of you who have been waiting for a while. Okay. Right, so. Alright. Right, so we should be all good. We'll get started. Okay, so you'll find the start time down in the description for anybody who is rewatching this live stream. If you haven't watched my live streams, normally I just present everything first, open it up to questions and answers and feedback and hi and bye and all that sort of stuff near the end. So if you're part of the live stream, stick around. Otherwise, we're going to get cracking into this because we're a bit late. So let's get going. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. I want to talk about my Dungeons and Dragons giants. I have large giants rather than huge giants, but I also have some huge giants, but that's another video. So today I'm going to show you my older giants that are large size. I've had them for a while, and what I've done is I've sort of broken them up into I would say a collection of different giant races. And you'll see these being presented as time goes by. Today I'm pretty much just giving you the basics, your general giant races, so such as your hill giant, your stone giant, your frost giant, your fire giant. I don't know that I've got much in the way of cloud giants in a large size, or storm giants. They tend to be much bigger than that, but I do have a few surprises. So we'll go through them now, and I'll show you what I've got. Now I've made sure I have something for scale this time. For those of you who are interested, I have provided a scale, a little miniature that I've put right beside it so that you can actually see sort of what the size of the miniature is like in comparison to everything else. So this is a fire giant. It's pretty obvious. It's a big red thing. It's a fire giant king. For those of you who are wondering, I've had this miniature for a really long time. I would say right when I was starting to pick up miniatures, this is when I sort of got this miniature. It's one of the very early series. So he's wearing armor, as fire giants do. Got a flaming axe, a cape. I think the cape is made out of dragon scales of some kind. I'm not completely sure about that. And he seems to be wearing moon boots, but lots of hair. Obviously, he's never shaved. So this is the Fire Giant King, large size, for those of you who are wondering. Next up on the list, where is it? There we go. This is supposed to be an Eton. He's got himself a bone for whacking things with, and he's also got himself I've put this one right on there, put him on the side there. He's also got a club, a spiked club, 2 heads. Etons are sort of prone to talking to each other, arguing, drooling on each other, licking each other's ears. Who knows what they get up to? But this is an Eton. I've got quite a few of them as it happens. And next, this is an unusual one. This is an Astral Giant. You probably haven't seen too many Astral Giants in the miniature range. He's got himself a shield and a spear. You'll notice that he has no feet because he's an astral giant. They don't need feet. They just sort of float around everywhere. So they obviously fly. Green skin, sort of blue garb, and white hair. A very sort of, I don't know, Gandalfy. Not quite Gandalfy, but kind of like that. So this is the Astral Giant. You can see the back of him. I'll spin him around just like that. We'll get rid of him next. And up we have, this is a stone giant with a spear standing on some rocks. I've never really been terribly fond of the stone giant because I always feel like the stone giants are way too small. This one is actually quite small in comparison to some of the other giants that I have. And his face kind of reminds me of Herman Munster. I don't know if you ever watched The Munsters. It's a very, very old TV series, but it sort of reminds me a little bit of The Munsters. It's a bit hard to make out his facial features. There we go. Maybe you can see a little bit better if I move him forward. See what I mean? Herman Munster. Alright, so that is the stone giant. Next up we have what is a hunched giant. So this giant would probably be taller. Only problem is he's hunched. And he's got himself an axe. And sort of something to cover his posterior and important bits. And he's probably just going to smack this tactical wizard and just sort of knock them to Timbuktu. Got some tattoos on him. I don't know if they're supposed to signify anything in particular. It sort of reminds me of little squares, essentially. So yes, this is the Hunched Giant. And yes, he's got bad teeth, hasn't been to the dentist recently. Okay, this is a Hill Giant. This is part of an early series. I believe they put this out as part of Icons of the Realms. And unfortunately, it's kind of small. He's got a rock. Looks like he's going to throw it, or maybe he's just doing the shot put. Who knows? Sort of like a fur on the back. They put this out. It's not a great miniature. I have to say that I prefer the Hill Giants they made later on. It kind of I use it more as not so much a giant, but an ogre, just because I feel like it's more like an ogre than it is a giant. Just my opinion, anyway. Okay, so and Hith. All right, move him out of the way. Next, we have another Etten. This is quite an old Etten Jack of Irons. So you'll see that they don't get along. They are facing away from each other. One has a bone, not a bone, is that a bone club? I believe it's more like an axe that's been made out of wood and a bit of metal. And the other one is supposed to be sort of like a tree trunk or a tree branch. And you'd think that they have fangs, but they don't have fangs. Those are supposed to be, I think, like a mustache of some kind, or just big teeth, like big molars. Maybe they're just sort of protruding tusks, something like that. Sort of really primitive, wearing bits and pieces of armor and animal hide strapped here and there. So this is the Etten. I've had this quite a long time. Ben in the Sun had good tan going there. Alright, next is yet another Hill Giant Barbarian. So, Hill Giant Barbarian. You might have seen this miniature. It's been around quite a long time. So he's got a bone necklace, more hide boots and undergarments sort of stuff. You can see he's got himself a couple of pouches, obviously for stashing his bits and pieces. I don't know what he find. Maybe there's money in there. Who knows? He's got a club with nails or spikes sticking out of it, and he's going to be using that to club somebody very shortly. He's kind of got that look of is that like a constipated look? It could be. And he might have actually been to the barber because his hair looks like it's been groomed. I feel like it has been groomed. Alright, Hill Giant. Next we have the Frost Giant. This is a girl Frost Giant. I actually think this is probably one of my favourite miniatures, simply because it's actually a pretty cool sculpt. I actually think it's cooler than some of the male Frost Giants you can come across. Very Viking-like. So huge axe, sort of double axe. I know it's a little bit bent. You've got the furs, you've got the plate armor, the blue skin, the pigtails. It really is very appealing. Pigtails. So that's why I'm thinking sort of more Viking than anything else, because of the pigtails. Honestly, looks like it to me anyway. So there's the Frost Giant, the female one. I move that one out of the way, and I've got a male Frost Giant. Shield and axe, a very bent axe, I do realise. Kind of looks like I'm still struggling with the horns on the helmet sticking out to the side, because it seems like it's an antennae. That helmet is used to contact aliens. It's got a white beard and lots of fur. Not wearing quite so much armor. It's sort of more oh, maybe a bit of leather going on there. Some white boots. At least they're not red, I guess. That's the main thing. So yes, Frost Giant. It's a bit taller. It's a bit more in terms of scale. It's a bit bigger. It's just the base. I think if the base had been huge, it would have made a lot more sense. Very Viking-like as well, that one. All right, so now this is a Formian. God blimey, Formian. With a club. Formian with a club. So one bug eye. Ah, look at me. I feel like I'm losing my mind. And he probably is. He's kind of purple. He's got the hunchback look coming in there. I feel like he might have, I don't know, sucked down one of Bruce Banner's nastier potions, or is it hides? Dr. Jekyll's potions? It's Dr. Jekyll's potions. That's probably what's going on there. Leather belt and some leather bindings around his feet. I've got a whole bunch of these, just truckloads of them. As I was desperately trying to get other giants. Okay, that's that one. Next is, cool, blimey, another Etten. This is the Etten Spirit Talker. The Etten Spirit Talker. You'll notice that he has what looks like a knuckle duster made out of a skull. Look at that. Look at that. I will knock you to a... Yeah, he's got a knuckle duster made out of a skull. Kind of a pathetic looking stick with some spiky bits in it. One of them looks like they're bald, and the other has got long hair. So obviously one of the heads has got better genetics than the other. Quite a bit of muscle tone going on there. Lots of bone sort of dangling down the front. I'm not sure what he's trying to prove. Plenty of muscle. Kind of a bit sort of, I don't know, squat for a giant. A giant. It's an Etten, but it's still supposed to be a giant, right? And the usual furs. Got to have some furs somewhere. What is that? Is that supposed to be hair draped on the back there? It does. For a second there, I thought it was a dead animal. It probably is. Okay, hang on. Let's get rid of that one. And next we have another stone giant. This is, I would say, more sort of, I'm going to use a club to smack you. I feel like this is the psychedelic one because I don't know what's going on with the WWF WrestleMania belt. Apparently he has got one. If you like wrestling, he's the guy for you, right? He's got some boots. The problem is that his clothing and his skin sort of blends together so much that it's a little bit hard to figure out where everything is. Apart from the belt sticks out like a sore thumb. So there you go. Yes, I feel like he's even got the chiseled features of a wrestler. Moving on. This is a fire giant. So, not that big, is it? I know what you're thinking. He's got a sword. He's not that big. He kind of looks like his hair's on fire, top and bottom. He's obviously wearing some sort of armor that's sort of spiky on the shoulders, but it's a little bit hard to figure out what's going on here. I don't think that there's armor on the back. I think that's definitely supposed to be brown skin of some kind. So it's impractical armor that will probably be impossible to use effectively, unless if somebody tries to jump on him though, they're going to get spiked. So this is a fire giant, very, very old one as it happens, for those of you who are even remotely interested. Okay, so that's that one. We're not finished though. I have a Cyclops Crusher. One Cyclops Crusher. Now, I know you're thinking, Fred, this isn't really a giant. I'm going to say it is a giant. Cyclops is a giant. Don't get carried away. So I've got a couple of these. Big spiked mace, double-handed, swing it down, crush, spiky things. A little bit of armor on the shoulders there. I actually think I like this miniature a lot, and hence why I tried to collect as many as I possibly could. I always envisaged having like a whole bunch of these Cyclopses running at the players' characters down a hill to terrify them, and that never actually eventuated, unfortunately. He kind of looks a bit goofy, like he's like, oh, what should I do? So One Cyclops. I'm not going to show you all the others, they're all exactly the same. This is another stone giant. I know I've got a lot of stone giants that are large size. Really small. You can see this. He's got a club, white eyes, kind of wacky if you ask me. The clothing he's wearing is kind of blends in with his skin, so you can barely see it. But he has a very nice lady's belt. I feel like the belt and the thing hanging off the side there is the sort of thing that any young woman would like to wear. No, probably not. It doesn't make an awful lot of sense. Colour scheme doesn't really work very well either, does it? No. And the eyes just make it look kind of odd. Yes, we're going to go with odd. A very small giant. Okay, this is a Marsh Giant. Oh my gosh. This fella is really ugly. He's got the most useless weapon. It's like a big stick with a hook. That isn't probably a hook, really. It's not really a hook. It's a hook that isn't a hook. It hasn't hooked all the way around. He's fat. He's ugly. He looks like he might have lost a few of his teeth. He's got black eyes. He certainly stands out. You couldn't mistake him for anything else other than really... I mean, he's probably... Look at his toenails and fingernails have been painted. So there's something really weird going on with this fella. I've never really faced a Marsh Giant of any kind whatsoever, and I don't know if I've even used this miniature. I suppose I should. Yes, maybe I should. Alright, so those are all of my large giants. Yes, I have huge giants as well, but they'll make an appearance some other day for those of you who are even remotely interested. So while I'm here, I will obviously grab a few more of these and put them in front of you so you can sort of see them. I'll move them around. We can put the little fella in the front to give you a bit of scale. There's no way I can get everything on this. This would be impossible. If I try to push everything in front of you, you won't be able to see it all at once. But it does give me something to do. So if you like this sort of thing, you like this video, please share and like the video. If you did, that's always great for me. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you feel like you would like to subscribe. Hit the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos, which I do as it happens from time to time. And you supported my channel by watching this video, but I do have hundreds more videos you are welcome to go and check out if you feel inclined. If you're not, that's fine too. I don't do Patreon, and I don't plan to do Patreon for 2019, but I do have affiliate links to the book depository and Amazon where I can buy stuff online. Well, I can, but I mean, you can buy stuff online. I get a small commission for whatever you buy, and you pay exactly the same price as you normally would. So that's always nice, isn't it? Now, this is your opportunity to ask questions, give feedback, say hi, say bye, whatever it is you want to say in the live chat. If you're not part of the live chat, though, that's what the comment section's for. Thank you very much for YouTube. I do appreciate that. It's always nice to have a comment section somewhere. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Where am I going to stick this 20? I don't know where I'm going to stick this 20. Just... Okay, so I've squeezed almost all of them onto the disc, but not quite. I'm not gone, but I do need to drink some water because I am going to pass out. Okay, alright, so I'm going to bring back the other screen. And we'll go through the chat and just have a little look at what people have to say before we finish up for today. Okay, Jano. Hello, Jano. How are you doing? Leonard. How's it going, Leonard? Frost Giant is pretty good. Yeah, look, see if I can't give you a comparison between those two Frost Giants. So I feel like the Frost Giants are some of my favorites out of this collection. As I said, these are not the huge giants. These are large. The huge ones are even bigger. So that is essentially the Frost Giants. Mr. and Mrs. For those of you who are even remotely interested, Mr. and Mrs. have broken up. You notice how they sort of face away from each other. They are not on speaking terms anymore, and he is now sleeping on the couch. Okay, Leonard, what do you got here? How can I make my own D&D figure? Well, I have been doing videos on how to make your own miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons. So I've got a whole set of videos and a playlist on how to make cheap Dungeons and Dragons miniatures. So my first advice is go check those out and see what there is that you might be interested in. Hi Clint, hello from the middle of the USA. So look, if you really want to make miniatures, it's actually not very easy unless you have a plan. I tend to use a lot of paper clips, wire, aluminium foil or aluminum foil, for those of you who pronounce it or say it that way. That's basically just metal foil that you use for cooking, and you then create your solid structure from that, and then you build around it. Usually I use everything from hot glue to milliput or putty to 2-compound mixing, and then I build up the structure that I want. I will also use a lot of wooden beads, plastic beads for eyes and bumps, and I use mothballs. Wooden mothballs are great because if you get a wooden one, you can drill into it and then feed whatever you need into the wooden mothball to actually help create the structure. So yeah, all of those are sort of methods that you can use for making your own miniatures. If you're talking about how to make your own giants, I do have a video out there somewhere that shows you how to make an armature and a really cheap and fast humanoid like this. It won't look that flash, but if you need just little people, there is ways of making that happen. And it's all it is a bit of hot glue or a bit of putty and that you mix up, and paper clips. You'll need some pliers, and that's really about it, nothing else. So pretty simple to do, not really hard at all. Okay, all right, I'm going to take off and let you guys be. Hopefully people found this enjoyable. If you didn't, I do apologize. Hopefully the next one will be better. I need to go and get some rest. I have a few things I have to do before I have to go to bed. So have a good night, have a good day, morning, whatever it is. Look after yourself, look after your family, and I will catch up with everybody probably in about 2 days. Will be the next live stream when I'm available. What will I be doing in the next live stream? I think we'll do dragons. I think I will do dragons, unless of course there's a whole lot of people saying, Fred, we want to see the huge giants, but that hasn't happened. So I'm going with the dragons that aren't flying. I have a lot of dragons that aren't flying, so I thought I would show you those.